Hello, everyone. Russell here from the Fallout from Dishonor podcast. You're going to be listening to something a little bit different. I keep saying that when I do these, but I guess it's not different at this point because this isn't the first rodeo with this situation. Here a few weeks ago, I recorded a audio and video interview with a tag team by the name of the Dillion Street Boys. Sean and Corey. They're from Massachusetts. They're a tag team. They have a podcast called Swamp Talk. If you feel like checking that out, it's available on all platforms. They are a very interesting duo, actually. I found this very entertaining and very informative. The matches out there with them are a little bit limited. They got their start in 2018, and then obviously not super long, year and a half after they started, whatever it is, COVID hit. So they're a little bit limited in their experience. But I found this conversation really, really fucking entertaining. I need to check out YouTube's rules about what they allow and what they don't. There is a little bit of smoking in this. I personally don't give a flying fuck, but YouTube might. So I need to go ahead and check with the rules there. If I think I can get away with it, I'm going to put the video up on YouTube at some point. Right now, this is the only platform I can think of where I know I'm not going to get flagged for it. So go ahead and give this a listen. And if you find them interesting, again, they have podcast, they have a YouTube series. It's not just wrestling based. There's a whole cast of characters and shit involved with what goes on YouTube. So give that a watch. I'll put links with shit in the description, but go ahead and listen to this, and I hope you enjoy it. Record.
Ooh, I heard that.
Oh. Big brother's after you guys. All right. So my name is Russell, Fallout from Dishonor podcast. It's great to have you guys on here. You guys are the Dillion Street Boys.
Yes.
Sean Miller and Corey Bush, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yep, you got it. You nailed it.
So the info on you guys online is a little bit limited, but I was able to find some stuff. Basically, I'm going to run through the little bit that I've got here and then start asking you a few questions. So you guys have been wrestling from 2018 to 2021 currently?
Yep.
Yes. More or less. COVID notwithstanding.
COVID fucking all of it up.
Yeah. Trust me. I play in a punk band. I feel you.
Yeah, it sucks.
Primarily, it looks like from what I could gather, you guys wrestle for New York Championship Wrestling and Truly Independent Wrestling. Is that correct?
Yeah, but so far this year it's only been NYCW.
Yeah, Truly Independent's not a thing because they were waiting on child vaccines. So hopefully soon.
Okay. That's actually a little unfortunate as far as watching matches from you guys. I think I found more on there than anywhere else.
Yeah. NYCW, we haven't been wrestling there as long as we have TIW.
Yeah.
Okay, well
TIW will definitely have the better matches for us too. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense. That's apart from like naming specific matches, that's about all the information I got on you guys. So guess we're gonna play fill in the blanks. When did you guys start training? Who did you guys train with? If you have any formal training, did you just do the backyard thing? How did you guys get into it?
Well,
we actually trained with TIW.
Yeah, it was all TIW. Our trainers were Wolf and Lance Madewell. Those are their stage names, so you feel free to look them up if you want to. Well, Wolf, what's his thing? It's like Wolf TJ Scott or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't call him by that. He retired as a wrestler, so. But anyways, yeah, we started there. We did do backyard wrestling, back in our teenage years. But thankfully a wrestling company came around and we were able to actually fulfill our dream to the fullest. And we probably trained longer than normal wrestlers should have, but they gave us the leeway of having work over wrestling training, which was nice. So, if work calls, you were able to go there and they would make up a day here and there for wrestling.
It took us so long because towards the end, we just barely showed up.
Yeah, it was all stuff we already knew at that point, and it was just basically when your trainer thinks you're ready, they decide that you're good to graduate. And it's just a day. There isn't like an actual graduation when you go to wrestling school. It's just when they see fit. But TIW did it different. They did do a wrestling ceremony because we had our own show. It was called the Student Showcase. We did that for a little over a year before things started to dwindle down. They rented a space at a mall, and the mall went out of business slowly but surely. So it kind of screwed us out of our training spot. And now there's no school, but TIW still exists. It's just waiting on that child vaccine.
Okay. Interesting. So you did, to backtrack a little bit, you guys did have some type of graduation ceremony thing, or?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Okay.
We got a trophy in the ring.
Wait, we have the trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's.
Oh no, that's not the trophy.
They give us plaques that said you were a student at TIW and you were good to go, basically. But
that's just it's not like I've done dozens of these interviews, but I've done a
promo of the year award right here.
Yeah, this is the first I've ever heard of this.
Well, this award right here is separate from the graduation. We actually got this award before we graduated.
Oh,
yeah,
because TIW,
we are,
well, TIW being our trainers and also being a wrestling company, they were doing shows, and sometimes wrestlers would back out last second, and they would need people to fill in the blanks. And there would also be Royal Rumbles and Battle Royals and all these things that needed extra wrestlers to fill in spots. So we were wrestling basically a couple months after we started training. It was just, they slowly worked your way up to a match. So like, he started before me. He was it a Battle Royal? I think.
I don't know. I just know my first singles match was with Fox Vineyard.
Well, yeah, that's down the road a little bit, but they slowly work your way up. Like a Battle Royal and Royal Rumble, it's basically just simple things going on in the ring because there's so much chaos, you can't really do too many moves.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought that as like a perfect opportunity for us to get some ring time, get experienced with the crowd, get a feel for the crowd, and also get the shit beat out of us. So it was fun all around. But then you slowly work your way up, and eventually we had to do singles match. Well, you had a singles match.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a singles match.
No, I don't think so.
Besides at training.
For the New York, the NYCW New York Heritage title. You're in that gauntlet thing.
Oh, I did have a singles.
Yeah, it's the promo where you
That was
do the
weird.
hot dog at the camera in slow motion.
I always forget. See, I don't
The Harry Siege championship.
So our whole gimmick is we're these drunks, like these drunk park rangers, self-proclaimed park rangers to a swamp. So like our whole thing is when we're shooting promos for wrestling events, we'll mispronounce stuff, and when we're in the ring, we're stumbling, and we're doing really shitty moves or shitty looking moves. Like we're doing them correctly. It's just they look like shit because we're trying to portray like this drunk character, and also we're really lazy when it comes to wrestling. But we make sure we do it safely, and it also works for our gimmick. So.
No, I'm trying to find the original message you guys sent me way back a few months ago. I can't find it on my phone.
Yeah,
you guys had said something about an entourage or a group or something. I don't know if that was just you two or if there's like a whole cast of characters, or I can't find the original message. I don't remember what you called it.
Oh shit.
Well, we also do some side stuff. Obviously, we do.
We have our own like little YouTube series.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I saw that, which evidently I need to go back and like start that from the beginning, because if you just watch a couple random episodes, I will say you're completely lost.
Yeah, there is an actual story. Like we didn't just go out and do this stuff. It may be a shitty story, but there is a story. It's more so developing our characters for the ring, so people get like more of a backstory for us. So that's why during COVID, we were like, oh shit, well, here's a perfect opportunity for us. We can't wrestle, you know, and now wrestling picked back up. So we tried doing a season 2 that failed. We did get enough to hopefully do a movie. So there might be a Brattlebrook movie to continue in, or a continuance of season 1, but we'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
We're pretty busy with everything, but yeah, we do other stuff besides wrestling. Wrestling's kind of like a hobby for us. Dillion Street Boys was supposed to be like I don't even know how to classify us. I wouldn't say a corporation, but we are trying to take over the world. So maybe an evil superpower. No, we are trying to do like a merch line. We do have merch, but more so focus on entertainment opposed to wrestling, because we can't wrestle our whole lives. And
no.
I don't foresee us wrestling another decade. I mean, we're both in our 30s, so 5 to 10 years will probably be it. We're not in WWE shape. That's for sure. So we'll see, though. You never know. Wrestling's developing, so we could always be those side character people that fill in the gaps. Like, oh, we send them out. We need to kill time. Send out the Dillion Street Boys, and then you got 2 fucking old drunk people stumbling out to the ring, killing a whole bunch of time. They're like, all right, we're ready for the next match. Get them the fuck out of there, and then they send the cops out to take us away or something.
I had it in my notes to ask you guys about your first match, which I assumed would be as a team, but apparently that's not quite the case. So,
well,
I guess whoever wants to take, do you guys want to talk about your first, I guess his first individual match and then your first tag match, or
well, we did
your first tag match, however you want to do it.
Match was against the
our first match was
our
a
trainer
and
match. His brother.
Okay.
Yeah, it was against our trainer Wolf and then his brother Evan. And that was typically how it went. Like if it was going to be a tag team graduation match, it was against Wolf and his brother, which was also very fun. Like I was
wearing sweatpants in that match.
Yeah, we didn't have gear.
They slid off, so my butt was showing a little bit here and there.
I think I had a singlet on underneath. I forgot. It was so far.
I think that was before I bought my singlet.
I think I was wearing shorts, honestly. I don't know. It was really bad. This was before we even had wrestling gear. So we were just wearing whatever. We looked like we were straight out of a gym.
Anything until the fire up.
Yeah. I think I took a package pile driver that match.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. My parents were in the crowd and they were freaking out. They're like, don't hurt my baby. Not knowing that it's all fucking.
That match was also our
practice
first promo too. It was our first promo.
Yeah, our first promo. That was a good promo. That really
short, sweet, and to the point.
Paved the way for the Dillion Street Boys for being drunks.
Yeah,
and that lazy character
passed out in an alleyway.
Had to wake him up. He was passed out on a fence. Like a rolled up fence in an alleyway, and I'm like, yo, Mr. Miller, we have a match, and like I mispronounced the guys' names and everything. It's good. It's all on YouTube. You have to deep dive for that one though.
I might have to do that. I mean, you're talking to a pretty hardcore Danhausen fan, so the comedic stuff definitely doesn't bother me. So
yeah, well, we're definitely comedic. That we went into wrestling planning to be like the
our
most comedic tag
either.
team.
Like everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your butt here at this
Everyone's
place
so serious and shit,
and we're just like, hey, we're gonna tell you what we're gonna do, but we're also gonna trim this tree as we do it, and it's gonna fall, and we're gonna decide that we don't like it, so we're gonna put the tree back up.
Yeah, there's a promo on YouTube where like we're shit talking, the match, and we're talking about this match and stuff, and meanwhile like this tree's like this tree branch is getting in the way of like us in this promo. So eventually like we get distracted, we yank down the tree, and like it shows the whole thing, and then like we go back to talking about the match and stuff, and then like we get distracted again by looking up, and we're like, actually we like the we like that branch where it was. So like we try and duct tape it back to where it was, and it's just really shitty, and like the whole thing's just a shit show. And it's like that's the gist of the Dillion Street Boys. And from like the point we get to the ring to the point where like we leave the ring area, shit show.
Yeah,
entire shit show.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's fun though. It's definitely entertaining, and a lot of people can vouch for it. We're the most entertaining tag team typically when we go out. Like we're not the best wrestlers, so we make up for it by being entertaining.
One of the funnier matches that I've actually watched in the past couple of days, I guess, was supposed to be two guys by the name of Wade Kruger and Tyler Vincent versus you guys, and then through whatever reason it ends up just being Tyler on the video. That's not really
Stepdads.
That was Stepdads version 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that match has a lot of.
Wait. Okay.
History.
In my notes, I guess Wade was the guy that wrestled Tyler due to some Tide Pods related incidents. Couldn't show up. I can imagine what those might have been.
His tag team partner Daniel
Rad Dad.
Yeah, he couldn't make it because he at the time Tide Pod Challenge was relevant, so he was sick due to the Tide Pod Challenge. In reality, I think
he ate eggs.
Yeah, he got food poisoning. He was
all
actually
the way up from
there.
New Jersey.
He was
like,
in.
oh man, I can't do this match.
So we did that wrestling event at a resort, and he was in the room that we were all walking out of. He was just in the bed sleeping at the time. He was really trying to make it. He was trying to sleep off the food poisoning, and it just wasn't happening. Though.
Yeah, that was the first attempt.
Yeah, that was the first attempt, and then every other time that they tried to book Dillion Street Boys and the Stepdads, there was just bad karma. Like I think NYCW attempted to have us in a match accompanied with the Stepdads. I think it was like there was a whole bunch of tag teams in it. The doctor didn't show up, and in New York, if you don't have a doctor present, you can't wrestle. So
that was Born to Wrestle, and
that was Nachi Mafia.
And Nachi Mafia.
Yeah, okay.
And Nachi Mafia.
All right. I just know there was other times, like every time that there
were a year later from that match that he's talking about was the other resort match. And it got rained out.
Yeah, it got rained out, and the Stepdads couldn't make it.
And then the mall closed.
And then the mall closed. And then eventually, so we got a spot at the Boys and Girls Club. That's currently where TIW does their wrestling shows. And like, there was talks of the Dillion Street Boys and the Stepdads finally having the match, and like the booker, our trainer Wolf,
night before,
he was just like, I really don't want to book this match because every time I do, it's bad karma. Like the show won't happen, or something's gonna happen. Like they're not gonna show up, or the Dillion Street Boys won't show up, and it was just really skeptical going in. And then like day of, we're just like, okay, it's happening. Yeah, like we were downstairs talking about the match with the Stepdads, and we're like, yo, it's happening. I was like, we got both Stepdads this time. And like, personally, I think the second version, like Stepdads version 2, is definitely a way better match. But any match with the Stepdads is going to be a hilarious and phenomenal match. Like they are just fantastic wrestlers all around.
Well, I guess I can't say they, but the one I saw I thought was hilarious. But again, with one Stepdad, I guess, because of quote unquote
goddamn sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's goddamn sunscreen. Slippery devil.
Another one I found kind of interesting is when you guys took on the Dignified, the one with the dog pile ending. That one,
yeah.
By and large, the match itself seemed a little bit more serious than some of the other. In comparison to some of the other matches I've seen you guys have.
It was a serious rivalry.
Yeah, that was going in serious, and that wasn't actually the end of Dignified Dillion Street Boys. There was one more match, and again, I think the later match, the final match against them was probably the best match, just because like
I like the one with Kennedy.
I like that one.
It was a bunch of fuck ups that turned out to be the greatest ending ever.
My favorite part is where Jamar is on the apron. He's ready to swing that chair, and I just come out of nowhere and kick that chair into his face. I was like, yo, but the chair ended up in the ring, and it wasn't supposed to end in the ring. And then you see Kennedy run against the ropes, and she slips on the fucking chair, and I was like, oh,
and it gave me the perfect opportunity to give him my finisher.
Yeah, so like,
had to kick his dick one more time to make sure he's really like bent over good, so I can get him with the famouser.
That was good. And then we all just piled up,
match.
And the crowd went fucking wild. That was the last match at the mall. The mall closed on the inside, but they gave us the okay to do it in the parking lot outside of our venue. So we were like, fuck it, we're doing it. It rained. We were like, we ain't canceling this shit. They put tarps and stuff over the speakers and shit. We're like, yeah, let's go.
Whatever fucking works. I've had similar issues with the band I'm in.
Yeah, I used to be in a band. Actually, I was in a couple bands.
It doesn't punk rockers and metalheads actually have a lot more in common with pro wrestlers.
See, you already know.
Yeah,
I feel like you already knew I was a metalhead.
You don't want to judge a book by its cover, I guess. But what would you guys say so far? Now, I know, unfortunately, due to COVID, your roster of matches is probably somewhat limited. If you did in fact start in 2000, and it did in fact start in 2018. But so far, from what you've had, what has been your favorite?
Ooh, I don't know. Every time I have a match, there's something new that I love about it, because there's something new and unique that I find us doing. Like the most recent match that we had was last month. The other team actually got lost, one of the wrestlers, and usually it's us to get lost during a match. Like we'll just go out there and know half the match, and then we'll take one wrong bump, and it's like, okay, I don't remember anything anymore. And then it ended up being these guys. We also didn't have time to plan out the match. It was like a last minute match type thing. We went to this wrestling event wanting to watch the wrestling event and not even wrestle. And the promoter, our buddy Patches, shout out to you, came up to us. He's like, you guys want to wrestle? Actually, it was our buddy Timmy G. He was in the ear of Patches, but Patches was like, oh yeah, Dillion Street Boys, let's do this.
He's always in the ear of Patches.
Yep. But Patches is a low-key Dillion Street Boys fanboy. I gave him a Dillion Street Boys hat at that show, and he was like, oh yeah, he didn't take it off the entire show. I was like, yeah, self-promotion.
My favorite is the Stepdads, because it was such a big build-up to finally, and huge pop.
Yeah, that match is literally the best Dillion Street Boys match. Not for Stepdads always have a good match.
Every match is a good match. Like the last one at the last show, oh my god,
if it wasn't for the Stepdads though, I don't think that match would have ever been as good as it was, because I think we took a total of like 4 bumps.
Barely did anything.
Barely did anything that match, and the crowd was going crazy. It was awesome.
And in Lance and Blackwell, simply for the fact of the story behind it.
The oranges
everywhere. We had oranges hidden all over ringside. It was great.
So these 2 wrestlers, Lance Madewell, I mentioned him previously, and then Blackwell, they were pirates, or a pirate tag team, we'll say, but Dillion Street Boys being idiots, we weren't sure if they were pirates or vampires, so we brought a whole bunch of oranges for scurvy. And then
some garlic.
Yeah, some garlic just in case. So we proceeded to hide these oranges before the show even started all around the ring.
And he wore a garlic necklace to the ring.
Yeah, he wore a garlic necklace. I think we made a whole bunch of garlic stuff, like a whole bunch of garlic things to wear to the ring.
We fed them garlic too.
Yeah. But I taped some oranges under some chairs out in the audience, so I could go out and be like, get out of the chair, watch out, look out of the way, and grab an orange from other chairs, so they could be like, what the fuck, why was there an orange under my chair? and shit. And then we had some oranges like tucked away in the turnbuckles.
The amount of oranges and garlic we gave Patches when he was on commentary. Guys, I don't want any more of this. Get this off my desk.
At one point, like I remember, I think Brett went over and just poured out oranges on his desk and shit. It was good, but it's ridiculous because after that match, kids were coming up to our merch table and having us sign oranges. And we're like, these things are going to rot away and not be. And they just didn't care. They're like, sign my orange. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Wow.
It's
interesting.
Crazy. Wrestling's fun. It's definitely an experience.
It sounds like it. I myself hope to maybe go through some referee training sooner or later, but that's
awesome.
That's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about you guys, not me. So
well, I mean, hey, that's still talking about wrestling.
Yeah, I guess you're right. This is true. So do you guys have any? Again, all I could find on you guys was basically the two organizations. Do you guys have any plans to branch out into other organizations that maybe you haven't wrestled for? Or?
We have. There's just not.
We just haven't gone yet. There's Immortal, which is pretty much where
another
NYCW
New York,
is.
Another New York company.
We mostly just went out there to help in hopes to get something.
They had us do.
COVID happened. We haven't gone back since.
Yeah. There's PAPW.
I do want to go back
Connecticut.
Down there, but they're on Friday night.
Usually when we show up, they would always have a match for us.
Yeah,
it was
PAPW is like a 75% rate.
Yeah, it was good.
You just show up and like, you got your gear? Yeah.
All right, perfect.
All right, fucking get
You're
in the
facing
ring
so
with
and
this
so
400-pound guy that came out of nowhere and he'll jump on you.
Perfect.
That was a good match.
Yeah.
I watched it and it was a little cringy for me because I'm watching myself. I always find it watching myself cringy, but in total, that was a pretty good match.
And then we ventured out to Maine, but we kind of just helped out.
That's a 6-hour drive. I do want to go back up there though.
They said
because I almost got booked last year.
Yeah, they said we're good to be booked now, but it's a rough travel.
Hey, Tim Hortons.
Is worth it. Yeah. And then Miller here, he wants to go to Canada and try and span out there to hopefully get our name out
in a
there
couple months.
Maybe we could both go out there and get booked.
Gotta learn a little French because we're gonna venture out to Montreal.
We need to learn some Mexican too.
I'm not
so you guys have neither one of you
Mexico. It's just there's a lot of Mexican wrestlers.
Neither one of you guys has been to Canada before. Hello?
He been to the border. I have seen the border this past year, and
I've seen the border.
It doesn't look anything like Canada. They do not care about their border. The U.S. side of the border, though, cameras everywhere. There's fucking there's patrol cars. There's a fucking precinct down the
cameras,
road. I'm like, holy!
Remember
shit.
The cameras and all the signs down the road on Canada? There's nothing.
It's literally on Canada's side. It's just cornfields.
We were this fucking like. We were in part of Vermont, like way north up by Champlain. And in that area before they closed the borders, like the streets just continued on.
Yeah, they
over
connected.
The border.
So like
the neighbors
from US could go.
But now
to
it's all
Canada.
blocked off. And just the amount of signs saying do not cross. And then like the little cameras up on the
this guy
the phone.
Like I feel so bad
poles.
for this one dude because this one guy in the United States, when all the COVID shit happened, they put a fucking marker, like a giant marker right in front of his front door, like this massive marker. So as soon as he walks out his front door, there's this giant border marker. And it's like, bro,
low key that like these people, they visit.
They probably offered to buy him out or something. He's just like, I'm not fucking moving because of some border bullshit. So they're like, all right, here's the border icon right in your fucking front yard.
If you own property in the United States that it changes the border, it'll just go.
He was split though. He had property in both though. Like his house was dead center of both, and it's like
I think he gets to choose.
That's
unless
so
it's
weird.
Already established.
It might already be established. They probably settled that during COVID.
They probably settled that when the house was built, when borders changed and stuff.
Maybe.
So maybe there's an inside joke or something then, because a couple episodes of your YouTube show, I remember seeing a Canadian flag here and there. That's the only reason
we got it hanging up right over there.
That's the only reason I was asking the Canada related question. So there must be some sort of inside joke or something that I am
we
not
just really love Canada.
Yeah, that's the joke. We're not actually from Canada.
Yeah, like we'll show up places and set up the Canada flag.
Yeah.
And people are like, you guys from, like, when we were camping out at Champlain, we had the Canada flag hanging up at our campsite, and people stopped by and they're
how'd
like,
you get down
are you
here?
Canadian? And we're like, no, we really like Canada. And they're like, oh, we're Canadian. We're like, oh, ooh.
Wow. All right. Well,
We should just start telling people we're Canadian.
We should.
I mean, it could work for the gimmick.
We're Canadian,
Never
self-proclaimed.
really specify where Brattlebrook is.
That's true. It could be in Canada.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know. It looks the same. It all looks the same.
It all looks the same.
That's about it as far as I got for my notes. Are there any stories or interesting road this or that you guys might want to touch base on before we're done here? Maybe I'm putting you on the spot to
On the spot sucks for us.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like a really good match.
We do have a YouTube that has all of our stuff on there. If it was recorded, chances are the match is on YouTube.
Oh yeah, all of our matches.
All of our
definitely going to give you the
promos.
chance to plug whatever the hell you want at the end of this. So feel free to do all that shit.
I mean, touching back, the next one, like, I'm just going to touch base on favorite matches again. Adam Stone and Dunham.
Oh yeah, that rock bottom was dope. That finish. Oh my god.
The finish of the match, we did an
so perfect.
Like homage to Eddie Guerrero. So during the match, like, you know, we're doing this match and like it's building up, and like at one point in the match I grab a weapon and I'm looking at the weapon, I'm looking at the guy, and the ref's like, no, you'll be DQ'd if you use the weapon. So like I set down the weapon, and then eventually, like right after that, something happens, the ref gets distracted, I grab the weapon again and fucking I whale myself with the weapon, and fucking it goes flying in the air and fucking lands on the canvas, and Adam Stone picks up the thing and he's like looking around like, why did he hit himself with the thing? And the ref turns around, it was like, looks at me on the ground, looks at him holding the weapon, it was like, did you and he rings the bell and we won the match because I hit myself with a weapon. It was just so fucking good.
They got a lot of heat too.
Yeah,
Mr.
they fucking got
Mr.
it.
Man did real good. There's a manager around here, from Central New York, and he's
phenomenal.
He's a great manager. He gets the crowd going nuts.
I think it was his first time.
Yeah, it was his first time at
and only
TIW.
time I think at TIW.
Well, then COVID hit. He did want to come back at some point.
Yeah, he would have to be their manager though.
Yeah, because it was the show right before the last show.
Yep.
Before COVID hit.
Yeah, he got up on the apron and everything. He's shit talking us, and then our manager comes over and fucking just punches him and lays him out, and he falls off the apron, falls onto the mats on the floor, and they pick him up, and they're still shit talking as they're pulling him back and shit, and like the crowd's cheering for it. It was awesome. It was a good match
too.
Yeah,
it's hard to pick a favorite, but I think in whole, I think my favorite, just because the build up for us, I don't care about the audience, never even knew a thing about it, but for us, it was a big build up to face the stepdads, and that was
that was a big build up. That was like a personal story.
Because I remember we did a promo for them because I think we were supposed to face them at a student showcase, and that didn't happen either.
No, that didn't.
Just out of curiosity, how many times have you guys been supposed to face them and didn't? Is there a count on that?
Maybe 4.
Yeah, 4.
Okay,
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the one I mentioned, the one I mentioned, half counts, I guess, because there was half of the stepdads there. So that sort of
and then it was
counts.
like that day they promised, they were like, oh well, we'll make it up to you, we'll actually do a stepdads Dillion Street Boys match, and then every time they tried to do it, it just
something happened.
So basically it was that match, and then everything that corresponded afterwards, just there was this or that or this or that.
Yeah,
we were on a high rise for Dillion Street Boys. Like we were at our peak, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, we were on a good peak.
down.
We were everywhere before the fucking COVID hit.
Yep,
people were just loving like it. A few shows finally being on Immortal and stuff.
A match that isn't posted though, has one of my favorite spots in it. We were facing this guy. He goes by the name Samuel Bolt, and it was in front of like other people at the mall, like other store owners.
Really cringy.
It was very cringy.
The cringy business.
It was like 4 or 5 people, and we promised that we would have a wrestling show dedicated for them. So we went out and wrestled, and I just remembered this one spot. This guy's a giant, mind you, Samuel Bolt. So like I'm a shorter guy. I jump on his back, and he like looks around the ring and scratching his head. He's like, "Where'd he go?" And he's like walking around the ring, like looking like over like the ropes and stuff, seeing where the fuck I went and shit. And then eventually like something happened. He realized I was on his back, and like he throws me over. But like, I just want to redo that because we were promised the footage of that match.
It's online.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. Never mind then. Well, we got it then.
I just gotta post it to our
YouTube. We gotta
post.
That's what it is. We have to post it still. All right. So
okay,
there is.
You guys have got it. It just needs to be uploaded or whatever.
Yeah.
It took a while. We had to ask a couple times for them to give us.
You know what never made it was that stupid documentary on the
TI5
the prospects that never came out. We came up with such good little promo, like little videos and to introducing the next part, and never got used.
Oh yeah, there was
never
like
got used.
There was like it was like a fad that was going on or something, but TIW was going to do it to like keep people informed during COVID, like, you know, we're still here type thing. Never got posted. Yeah. It was good. We had a tree fall on us.
Oh no, not that one. That was posted. That was the challenge.
Oh, all right.
This is the prospects little mini documentary that they're gonna do about
I remember
the prospects and TI5 and how we broke into the car and like we're just talking. And like
the car alarm is going off.
Introducing the next part of the prospects history, the car alarm is going off.
That's probably why.
You know, he came out and you know we just had to beat his butt. The
car alarm was too loud. That's why they never posted it.
And then at the end, we're in the back of a police car.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So
we get slammed into the cage.
The van wasn't even on or moving.
That was fun. We should request that footage.
I was gonna say, is there any way for you guys to get that, or is that just not?
No, we just have the empty stuff that we made, like the video. We have our version.
We should fill it in and then just post it.
Yeah, we could make we have enough to make our own little documentary about the prospects.
Shit, we should, since we're the last remaining prospects.
Yeah.
So out of our training or our trainees, there's like 3 people left that actually wrestle. It's Dillion Street Boys and then Danny Adam. That's
Tony.
It. And Tony's out because of injuries,
he'll
but
back.
He always has an injury, so he's always out.
He was never a prospect, so two.
Two.
Us and Timmy G.
Compared to how many originally?
5 or 6.
Nah, it was like, I thought it was more. It was like 7 or 8.
Tony wasn't a prospect.
I know he wasn't a prospect, but
us
when we had that 6 man, it was supposed to be 7. 7 on
Simon
5.
Got kicked out because he's too big.
Yeah, he was too. Well, he also had to face Tyler Vincent.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, that was a good match. Yeah, good for him. Yeah, we booked a Impact wrestler and he bailed. Abyss from Impact, and he bailed.
I think his flight got canceled or something like that.
Yeah, something happened. Either way, like one of our tag team members from this match had to get carried on to do a hardcore match. That was awesome.
That was his first match too.
Yeah, first match. It was a hardcore match, and he went through a wall.
It was
was awesome. It was such a good match. Holy shit, they went all out. I just remember like Tyler Vincent, like we're all in the back, like there's a back little area where all the wrestlers chill, and we watch the matches while we're waiting for the show to end and stuff. We're all just chilling back there, and I'm holding the Dillion Street Boys chair that we bring out to the ring, and it's not a chair you should be using as a weapon. It's got like jagged edges and shit, and it's all broken and stuff. He just comes over, grabs it out of my hand,
sitting right there.
Oh yeah, it is sitting over there. Goes back out to the crowd and just fucking wails Samuel Bolt in the fucking back with it, and then tosses the chair back behind stage. And I'm just like, oof. I hope his back's all right.
That sounds pretty goddamn painful.
I can only imagine. Chair shots. That was optional to learn in training.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, here's your chance." And then I was like, I'll judge off the first person. They're like, "All right, hunch over." And they're like, "Remember this, because if you don't take it today, just remember at some point in your career, you probably will."
Haven't yet.
We also haven't done any weapon matches.
No.
So you hunch over, and then the thing that I remember is he's like, "You need to exhale right as I'm about to hit you with this chair." And I'm like, how are you supposed to know he's about to hit you when you're hunched over expecting a chair shot? And I watched it, and I just remember fucking our buddy Zach. He just goes down, and he's just like, he's like, "Oh fuck, that knocked the wind out of me." Wolf's just like, "I told you, take a breath." Yeah, he's like, "I told you, take a breath." And he's like, "I know, but it's hard to do when you're hunched over." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. Nope." It was that and the superplex, and I had to choose between one of them, and I was like, "I'll take the superplex. Fuck that. Fuck the chair shot."
Well, I mean, avoiding chair shots, you guys could just add that to your gimmick. I mean, if you do something like that, though, eventually you're going to have to take one. If you do that.
I told Wolf and Lance back when Lance was also running TIW, that if I ever have a hardcore match, it has to be against Mr. Miller. I was like, I don't want to work with anybody else in a hardcore match. I'd rather work with my own tag team partner. So like, build a fucking story to where we fight over something stupid, have it be a can or fucking a hot dog or something.
My can.
You stole my can.
Yeah. 1978
brawl, a hardcore
Budweiser Christmas edition can, and you stole it.
You stole it in broad daylight. Yeah, something stupid like that.
Picked up
and we
my
just
CD and you scratched it.
We would have a match over something stupid, settle it. It would be the most brutal match, and there would be no victor. I think it would just end in a draw because it's us, and we would just be like, you know what? I found the can, or something. Like you find the can during the hardcore match and be like, oh, I forgot I put it under the ring so it didn't get crushed during the hardcore match. Be like, oh, that's smart thinking, and it just doesn't make sense or something. Like, what? He had the can the whole time, but he accused them of stealing the can. Like, that's Dillion Street Boys, though.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, do you guys have any matches coming up to where anyone can see you here in the next month or two, or anything you want to plug, or anything at all?
We don't have any set matches,
but we'll be at NYCW this next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend's NYCW.
It's December 4th, right?
What's the name of the event?
I don't know.
Something. It ends in a slam.
It's holiday themed.
Yeah, it's the Christmas
season glammings. Season
that is not it.
Slamming season.
That's not it either. Either way, we're going to NYCW.
I think it is Winter Wonder Slam.
Yeah, I think it's Winter Wonder Slam.
I was going to say, when I throw these up on the actual podcast feed, I usually record an intro and an outro, so I can look that up information. But if you guys can have it in a minute,
I think he's looking it up right now.
Yeah, it's definitely like Winter Wonder Slam.
Yeah, we'll be there. Chances are we might have a dark match if he doesn't get a hold of us in the next week.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there regardless. So you might see Dillion Street Boys in action.
Other than that, that's it. That's all we got planned
until TIW makes its great return.
Yeah.
Which no sign or guessing as to when that might be.
No guess.
I would guess next year if it dies, if COVID dies down a little bit.
Well, next year can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Next year's a long drawn out time. What about social media, merch, anything like that?
We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of them. Dillion Street Boys.
Yeah, search
we
Dillion
have
Street Boys.
a podcast called Swamp Talk.
Yeah,
it's on Anchor,
everything.
Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere you can get a podcast.
And we also have merch.
We have merch at
teespring.com/store/Dillion
Street General Store.
Yeah, that's a hard one to remember. We might have to send the link for that.
I was going to say, I'll find the link and then put it in the description. That might be easier for that one.
All right.
In fact, I'll find all your guys' social media and just put it in the description.
Yeah, we have a link tree.
Yeah, he's got a link tree.
Okay, well, that makes it even easier. That's one link as opposed to 6.
Yeah.
I'll just send that to you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right. Well, unless you guys got something else to say, I think that'll about do it on my end.
Awesome.
We'll the audio will definitely go out. There was a little bit of stuttering with the video for the audio was going fine. The video whacked out for like 45 seconds. So I don't know if the video is going to be usable or not. I'll have to watch it back. My first one of these I did on Skype with a guy from the Michigan area, and that was I put the video up. I want to just fucking tear it down. It's awful. Skype is not the platform to be doing this shit on.
No, definitely not.
As it sounds like you guys already know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I appreciate having you guys on, and
thank you.
We will talk later.
Oh,
right.
hell
yeah.
Hey,
if you want to pick the next people to be on your podcast or whatever, I would highly recommend the Stepdads.
Oh yeah, Stepdads definitely.
Did they just the social media stuff? I should be able to find them, or
they should be.
Yeah,
on
if
Facebook.
you hit them up on Facebook, they should respond. Yeah. They're great guys.
I'm always hitting people up, but it's the and I'm not. This isn't even necessarily a wrestling podcast thing. I think this is a podcast thing in general. If you do interviews, you email 10 people and you might get 1 or 2 responses.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's I don't want to do that sort of thing as so much as the emails end up getting so clogged up that they probably don't even see them.
Yeah. They're just a little bit more. Well, they're way more experienced in wrestling. So if you're looking for a little bit of a deep dive in wrestling, they definitely have it. They've wrestled some Hall of Famers too.
I will definitely look into that. And I think you guys are some pretty badass guys. So maybe in like 6 months or so, when you guys have had a few more shows or whatever, maybe I'll have you back on if you are
that time we
up
should
for that.
be.
Oh hell yeah, definitely,
and stuff like that.
We're always up for podcasts.
Yep, always down for a podcast.
Definitely.
We just had a podcast before this.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, that'll do it. And I thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
All right, everyone. That was my interview with the Dillion Street Boys. Like I said, they're a couple of fucking characters, to say the least. I'm going to try to get the video of this up somewhere. I don't know if YouTube's going to allow it. We'll see what fucking happens. In the meantime, I do have one more interview. I want to get the audio up for a guy by the name of The Wrestling Geek. It was actually the first interview I did that I uploaded on YouTube. If you want to check out the video of that, you can go do that. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Beyond that, make sure you go and check out any of the social media and YouTube stuff that the Dillion Street Boys plugged at the end of the interview, and I will see you on the next interview.